Disjointed Productions.
Hey, what's shaking, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Disjointed Podcast. I'm your host, Dave Germain. This is the podcast that, well, it used to be about how do you go from a 9-to-5 life to one of creativity, and now it's about, hey, how it'd be nice if I had that 9-to-5 life once again. But my name's Dave Germain. I am a stand-up comic. I'm a podcaster, sometimes actor, and as well as, did I say stand-up comic? I am a stand-up comic as well. I actually have shows coming up. You would think I actually would have put I got some information ready for it, but nope, didn't do that. I'm like, nope, good enough. As long as I got a show, that's all that's necessary, right? But this is the first time for folks, if you're listening to this through Spreaker or wherever you get your podcast from, by the way, if you would like to help out the show, go to Spotify or iTunes or wherever you get your podcast and put in the Disjointed Podcast with Dave Germain. Give us a follow. That stuff helps. I tend to do most of my stuff through, I tend to be more of an audio format than I am a video format. So if you're watching me live going on YouTube, it's because it's something that I am trying this thing out, seeing how it's going, right? Seeing what I can do. And yeah, we're checking it out. We'll see how it goes. Now, I am also trying to figure out the interface and stuff between YouTube as well as the audio format of it, mainly because I'm trying to figure this out for before we move one of my other podcasts, something that I am partners in, and I would honestly say this other podcast had the dumbest name possible for what I was hoping to accomplish. The other podcast was called Mansplaining with Jake and Dave, and we were trying to focus on young men's health and, mental health and how to, maybe be a voice of reason, or basically it's guys in their 40s giving advice to the 22-year-old versions of themselves. Unfortunately, some fucking prick out in Romania decided that he was going to be the poster boy for men's health and helping all the frickin' incels out there. Boy, is that not going over well. And I wanted, the joke that I had for why it was called mansplaining is that, well, we are mansplaining because that's what we're doing. We're just not doing it towards women. That would be rude. We're mansplaining towards other men, or as guys like to call it, just talking. And I was really, really hoping that people would be able to look past the name. I don't know why, if it was just a bad idea, ego, combination of both. But point is that it never really took off the way that we wanted to. And we think that basically, there's a friend of mine who actually does a lot of audio books and does a lot of stuff on YouTube as well. And he was telling me, he's like, with a name like Mansplaining, that, it's never going to catch on in the algorithms the way that you think it's going to. So I was like, yeah, you're right. Why would I name a podcast over something like a name that is obviously, or a word that is obviously meant to be derogatory, right? It's obviously meant to be bad. You're never going to use, hey, man, thanks for mansplaining that. That was really good. We appreciate that. I wasn't sure how this stuff was going to go until you mansplained the fuck out of that situation for me, and now I totally understand. Thank God we had a man here to mansplain this situation. Nobody is ever going to use that word in that. Or what I was hoping for, hey, have you listened to the Mansplaining podcast with Jake and Dave? And nope, that didn't go over nearly as well. So Jake and I are trying to figure out a way to rebrand that show and how we're going to, what we're going to call it. We have a couple of good ideas, but we haven't settled on anything just yet. That's only because we haven't really spoken in close to a week. So I need to do that. But it's kind of that's what's been going on. You know what? Hold on. Give me one moment here, party people. Man. Sometimes this shit doesn't work. Manage, go out on Front Street. Alright, well, was trying to see. Oh, okay, now at least I've got what that is for. So, yeah. So either way, we're Jake and I were gonna think we're probably gonna be rebranding and relaunching that show because we really do believe in it. But when we really think about it and we listen back to some of these episodes, we don't always stay on like men's health issues. Sometimes we're just talking about current events and shit like that. So we're gonna try to come up with a name and a concept that kind of has all that in mind. So there's that. Let's see, kind of giving you guys an update of what's been going on with me. I have been trying to make more phone calls to friends and reach out and actually engage with other people because for those of you who don't know, last year I was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer, which I thought was really unfair. You would think I would get like a stage 1, 2, or 3, like, you know, like you're up at baseball or something, up at bat. But it just so happened that an injury, it was a neck injury that I had where it was a tumor involved, and that's where they found out that it was malignant, and that's where they found where the cancer was coming from and stuff. So in a lot of ways, I should be grateful that I got injured, and because had I not, I never would have known that I had this, you know. Other than my stomach feeling kind of bloated, that's the only thing I could think of that was a symptom of what was going on. Other than that, I had no idea. I thought it's because my diet sucked and I was really out of shape, you know, which I'm sure that contributed to it. But, yeah, either way. So yeah, either way, I completely lost my train of thought here. Because in some ways I want to go over a lot of old information that a lot of people the podcast have probably already heard a couple different times. But then again, if you're a new user, I thought that I would share that with you. But no, stage 4 cancer, colon cancer, which as far as the cancers to get, that's probably, I don't know if there's a good cancer to get. But some are more perilous than others. Obviously, this is perilous, but it's not like, hey, you know, it's not like I asked the doc how much time do I got left, and she said, well, what time do you have? You know, so it's up to the doctor that I have. Is the record that he's been able to keep a patient alive with cancer was 20 years. So that's not every patient, mind you, because everybody's different. But I don't know. I've around some good people like that. But the problem is going along with realizing that you've got stage 4 colon cancer is that how the mind is going to react to that. And that's one of the things that I've been really, really struggling with because I've been pretty angry, man. I've been pretty angry at the world. I'm angry that I can't smoke or that I can't stop smoking. That's still, or wanting to smoke. Because you would think that dodging the bullet that I had, because right now the cancer, it's on the run, it's shrinking, so that's good. So you would think, like, why are you tempting fate with more cigarettes? And there's a lot of people that offered a lot of money, emotional support and everything. And this is a conversation my wife and I had a while back, and I felt like shit about it. And I've been really, really working hard on how to make that change in my life. But along with that, which is something that's obviously a good thing to try to do. And it's bizarre to me that something good for yourself, you're trying to do for yourself, but your mind or your ego or whatever it is your habits, your addictions are just constantly going like, nah, man, fucking come back. Don't worry about it. We know how to make things better, you know, and that's really not the case. So that's something I've been having some problems dealing with. Also the fact that like my anger towards things that just come out of the blue, you know. And because of all this, my wife suggested that I go see a therapist, and I actually have an appointment, hopefully tomorrow, with a consultation with a therapist, and we'll see how things go, because that's the weird thing about mental health, I think, is that sometimes you don't always realize exactly how frickin' far gone you are. Because looking from the inside out, you know, the inside of your own brain and mind and eyes and whatnot, looking out, everything has a tendency to seem normal because that's what your ego is trying to do. It's trying to keep things normal. It's trying to make sure that that it's keeping you, quote unquote, safe. All right, this is what I have against safety, by the way. is that because my perception was that everything is normal, you're trying to get back to normal, things are going okay, don't worry, everything's not so bad, all this other weird shit. You don't really see how messed up things are just because you have a distorted view of reality. It's kind of like your algorithm, any of our algorithms on social media. It has a tendency to only show us what we want to see. So, as a result, I think I might have found a doctor or a therapist that takes in our insurance, and will hopefully be able to help because it's weird. They have a list, like drop down list of, all right, what's wrong with you today? And I'm like, well, let's see. And it's weird. It's almost like you're looking at a menu at a McDonald's and stuff, and like, all right, I'm gonna take some trauma. If I think I can get a trauma value meal that comes with depression and anger, right? Okay, great. So I've got that. What about men's health? Are you okay, what kind of men's health? Is it you're just too freaking awesome, or is it you're having a problem being a man? Well, okay, I'll throw myself into that category. So I'll take a side of that, maybe, because the value meal isn't always enough. Sometimes if you just got a really big anger or hankering, you have a special. If I get the value meal of angst, as well as, what was that, the second thing? I don't know what I'm fucking trying to come up with a bit right now. But all I'm thinking about is that, men's health. Let's see. If you get those two together, you actually get a free treatment for eating disorder, obviously. That would be weird if that was like a part of the questionnaire when you head to a therapist and they're like, what'd you have for lunch today? And they're like, what do you mean? What is that supposed to tell you? Tell me a lot. What'd you have? I'm like, I don't know. I had a bologna sandwich. I'm like, all right, you had some trauma with your kid, and obviously you don't give a shit about yourself. All right. What about you, buddy? What did you have? I'm like, oh, what didn't I have? All right, you know what? Go no further. Eating disorder, trauma. I'm going to have to find a way to get through that, and I don't know. So I'm apprehensive about seeing a therapist for all these things because I hate to admit that I've got these issues. Hold on, let me take off the stupid hat. I look like a sadder version of Tim Pool's older brother with that stupid hat on. Where was I? It's difficult to admit that I need to go see a therapist. Because I'm so introspective about so many things that you think that I'd be able to solve all these issues on my own, but that's one of the problems is that I'm really, really good at analyzing emotions to the point where I don't necessarily have to feel them anymore. So if I've got all these issues and emotions that center around anger, pain, and destruction and despair, there's a reason why I probably don't want to look at that because that's not how I want to see myself, but that's kind of how I am right now. And that would be a good. It's times like that you need a therapist because they're looking at a different point of view and they could see when you're obviously suffering from something, and when you're the person who's actually going through the suffering, maybe you're just used to suffering so much that you don't notice when you are, and that's a kind of a tendency, something that I have, not just me but other people in my family have a tendency to do. So I will give you guys an update on that as that comes in. Let's see. Let me grab two addresses here because, believe it or not, guys, I am on a couple shows. Let's see. And let's make sure that we've got. Shit, what is the day? Is it the 23rd? Oh, wow. All right. On the 16th of February, I'm going to be at the Tandoori Grill in Boulder, Colorado. I'll be doing a feature set, so it's actually worth coming out to see me. Normally, if it was just like a 5-minute set, I would kind of half-assly promote the show, but since I'm doing like an actual long 20-minute set, I want as many people that know me to come see this because I think it's going to be a great show and I think it's going to be fun and definitely worth your time. It's also free, so, take that, cheapskates. But Tandoori Grill, located at 619 South Broadway, Boulder, Colorado. come check it out. The food there is pretty awesome. I've had some of their appetizers and happy hour stuff that they made, and man, that stuff is just absolutely delicious. And even if you hate my comedy, you should probably come just for the food, anyways. The other one, it's going to be that same weekend, and let's see. This one, I believe, is at the Cactus Grill at 119 East 4th Street in Loveland, Colorado. That one is going to be... It's going to be on the 18th, I believe, of February. That's a Saturday, I believe. Let me double check that, right? And that one's going to be a pretty good show because I believe PJ Johnson is going to be headlining. Jeff Cohn's also going to be there, one of the Colorado's favorite comics. And then, of course, I'm going to be there as well. I'm going to be doing doing a feature set as well. So, 2 feature sets in 1 week. Can you believe that? That's a big thing for me. So, yep, February 18th. Let's see, hosted by John Mazik, special guest Jeff Cohen. I'm the feature, and then PJ Johnson. All right, he's going to be on there as well. I don't know the lineup of the Tandoori Grill just yet. When I do, I'm sure it's going to be a good one. Billy Joe tends to put some pretty good effort into how she produces her shows, so that's going to be awesome. So, actually, I had shit to promote. Other than that, guys, I think that's pretty much it. I think that's all that I really kind of wanted to do and kind of test out this live streaming thing. I'm not even sure if I'm going to put this audio up as an episode because I feel like it's like a half-assed episode. But either way, I appreciate anybody who actually dropped in for just a moment. And anybody who's going to check this video out later, definitely subscribe, man. And there'll be some great interviews that I'm going to have on here. I'm going to start doing videos for a lot of my interviews again because I think that's something that I've kind of missed doing. And I need something to challenge me and something new that I need to learn. So we're going to try doing that. Signing off for the Disjointed Podcast, I'm Dave Germain. You guys have a great week. Bye.